Hi everyone, welcome back to Kirsty Colouring Sketch. I'm going to do a little colour along in this book today. There is a full flip of this book on the channel, I'll link it in the description. This is a book by HJ and Drawing over on Instagram. I'll also link her Instagram page. And I got this from the Deco Made website. It's a gorgeous book, lovely paper. And the page I've started in here so far is this one. Don't know what that was on there, but I'm glad it wasn't stuck. So this is the page I've started, and let me tell you, this book absolutely loves the Faber-Castell polychromos pencils. I haven't tried any other pencils yet because this is the first page I've tackled, but it loves them. It loves the polychromos, and it's very, very rare, if not ever, never do I ever do a full background in coloured pencil. Normally I use some sort of pan pastels or distress inks, but this is all coloured pencil. This is all the polychromos pencils, and I'm absolutely over the moon with it. I think I got a good match for the reference that's on this side. I have written down the colours I've used so far on a little post-it note up here. So the colours for the yellow background was the cream, then the light yellow ochre, the Naples yellow, the dark Naples ochre. And then I have just started, that's an emergency vehicle going past. I have just started the leaves. Now I was hoping to get this page finished so that I could show it in my finished pages for July, but I don't think it's going to happen. Reason being, I'm trying to replicate this illustration on this side. Normally I would do leaves in a very easy fashion, very easy, 2 pencil easy fashion, and if you watch my latest colour along in the Flowerscape book, you'll see how easy I normally do leaves. But I really wanted to copy this reference and go off what they'd done, so these leaves are taking me a long time, let me tell you. And there's all the top, and then there is a few little bits round at the bottom as well. So the colours I've been using for the leaves, I based them all in cream. So the cream 102 I based all the leaves in. Then I did a very, very light layer of the May green 170. And then I've been going in with these 2 pencils, the permanent green olive 167 and the chrome oxide green 278 for the darkest areas. So normally I only use 2 pencils on leaves. This time I'm using 4 pencils. So yeah, but I think this is super cute. I think it's supposed to be Charlotte's Web. Absolutely, it's stunning illustration. I love the paper, like I said, these polys work brilliant. So I just thought we'd go in on some of the leaves. So I'm going to zoom you in. Hopefully that's sort of where we want to be. And I was still working on this leaf here. Now as you can see, it's, if I bring you over, it's this leaf here, but I've just been going off trying to pick out the dark areas and fill them in first, so it needs a bit of depth here. So I'm going to go in with the darkest pencil again, the chrome oxide green 278. Hopefully we're in. And I've just been going really lightly and building it up slowly. Now normally, you know, if you saw my last colour along, you know how simply I colour leaves, but I've been really taking my time and really trying to get it the same as the reference. I've been enjoying it, but it is a slow burner. It's one of them pages you have to work a little bit on, then go away, then come back, work a little bit more. This is what I mean by it depends what sort of mood you're in for colouring. Sometimes I'll pick a really easy page that I want to do mixed media on, that I want to get done in an hour and a half, and I just want to have fun and relax doing it. And other times I really want to just take my time and try to do something as amazing as I can. It just depends what mood you're in, doesn't it? And sometimes you just want total mindless colouring, so sometimes I will just get the colour by number out or the mandalas and get my alcohol markers and just block colour. You know, whatever works for you, whatever calms you down, whatever relaxes you, whatever you use for either your hobby or anxiety relief. It's in the moment, isn't it? It's what helps you in the moment. But I love this book. I love it. So I think that's as much as the darker. Maybe possibly press on a bit harder here and get it a bit darker in the corners. But you can just play around. If you do really light layers, you can keep playing around and adding more or less. So I'm going to go in with a middle tone now, and this is Permanent Green Olive 167, and I'm just gonna very lightly, using circular motions, I'm just buffing in that dark colour what we've just put down. That's all. I may colour that little piggy. That little piggy on this page is screaming out for me to colour it. It really is. It really is. I'm feeling like there's something under the page though. It felt like there was something grabbing it. If you can hear children, they're on the Xbox, so they're raging on the Xbox. Don't mind them. It's my eldest. It's my 12-year-old. She's either on Fortnite or Roblox. It's probably Fortnite if she's raging. So next I'm going to go in with a May Green again, 170. And again I'm going to buff over the lightest areas with this. So this little bit here. Like that. And then right at the end, to bring it all together, I'm going to go in with the cream 102. I'm just going to do a medium pressure over there, so you've sort of got this illusion of the light hitting the leaves, because there's some sort of light going on here, isn't there? I think like some sort of lighting effect. So the way that I've picked out the colours, looking at the reference, is I get my swatch book. So where are we? This is my little swatch book. Let's zoom you out a bit. So I get my swatch book, and these are the colours. Where are they? The greens. And I just sort of lay my book down close by it, or you can even get a separate, let me find it. If you get a separate scrap piece of paper and you get your colours, say you've got about 10 greens, you're not sure which one to use, you can place the paper right up against the leaves and just do that right at the side of them, and you can really get a good match by, you know, placing it on top of where you are. Like that's the darkest colour there. And that's how I do it. That's the easiest way for me, because you can get a really good match that way, and that's all I've done here. In some areas I can see that I could probably go in darker with the darkest colour, but I might do that at the end, or I might just leave it a bit lighter. It doesn't have to be an exact replica, it's just what you want to do. But I will just note as well, this is Korean apparently. Somebody kindly told me it was Korean language, so I thought I'd have a go at doing the Korean little symbols here. So I apologise if anyone can read Korean and it's really bad writing over there, but I thought it would be fun to have a little go. So that's what I did. Alright, I'm going to go back in with the leaves now. So I'm going to go in with my middle shade, which is Permanent Green Olive 167. Let me check. Let's pull you in again. Pull you in. So on this one, which leaf is this? This one. So this one's quite dark in the corner where the shadow is. So yeah, and it's got a lighter area there. So that's all I do. I just check out where the lightest area is, so I don't go over it with this colour. Sometimes I do like to line the outsides a little bit. So get the edge of the pencil and just line the outside up to give myself a guide. Maybe a bit of a darker pressure there where we know it's going to be darker. And then what I also do as well, see how there's a line running through the centre? So I have a look on here and I just follow that. Not too harshly, just sort of flick the line in, and then comes from up here as well. So we've sort of got the outline done and we've got the line there, and then we can start going in with some of this colour. Now, as I say, I have been doing these very carefully and have just been starting with a light pressure and small circular motions and just checking back at the reference where the lighter areas are. You don't have to follow the reference if you don't want, it's just there for you. But if you wanted to do your own colours, it's your colouring book. But I like a good reference. Takes all the guesswork out. Like, if I just had to colour this page and I didn't have a reference, it wouldn't turn out as stunning as this is turning out, because I just don't have the imagination in my head to put good colours down and placement. I really don't. Like I say, it was a bit pricey on the shipping for this book, but it was well worth it for me because I'm going to get much enjoyment out of this book. So much enjoyment. There's a Pinocchio page in here that's adorable. There's a sort of Snow White page. Like I say, if you've not seen the full flip, just click in the description box and you'll be able to watch the full flip. So I'm just easing off pressure now because this little bit here is going to be the lighter area, so I really want to get that May green in there and bring that tone through. So just being mindful around here about how much pressure I'm putting down. Oh, I've just ordered the kids a big sweetie box for the weekend as well. We're going to have a movie night. I'm trying to get my youngest daughter to be good, and I've been using all the bribes, like, if you're good, if you do this, we'll get some sweets at the weekend, we'll have a movie night. Yeah, it works, it somewhat works, and then other times it really doesn't work. She'll just carry on. But yeah, sweetie, big sweetie box and a mega lolly. Mega lollies. I think Mummy will be eating some. So that's pretty much where I want that colour. Like I said, this area is going to be the darkest green, but I always go over with this middle tone anyway, because it gives it extra depth when you do go over. I've just been watching someone's video as well. I forgot who it is, but I don't think they're on YouTube anymore. It was a really old video and it was about what colours you can use as an undertone to make something have a shadow on it. And it was using the colour wheel, so it was using like opposite sides of the colour wheel for the shadow. So if you wanted to do, say, a yellow, but you wanted it to be darker on one side, instead of using a darker shade of yellow, you would use like a lilac underneath the yellow, and you wanted to see it. It worked so brilliantly. I was going to do a video, but I've just not had time. But yeah, check out if you've got a colour wheel and you want to do shadowings, look at what's on the opposite side of the colour wheel and put that as an undertone rather than using blacks or a darker shade of the colour you're using. It worked really well. Really well. It's not something I've tried yet in my colouring, but it looked brilliant. So I'm going in with the darker colour now, Chrome Oxide Green 278. You know what as well, I don't actually own a colour wheel. They're only a couple of quid off Amazon. I think they're £2 or something off Amazon. Just for a basic colour wheel. So the darkest colour is going to be all under here in the shadow until we get to that bit. That bit's going to be lighter. See how it takes so long compared to the leaves that I did the other day on the colour along? Because I'm trying to do them really good. Oh dear, what am I like? Right, being mindful of that line we put in as well, because this line down the centre is going to be lighter. So we're not going to go over that with the darkest green, we're going to leave it out. These polys are working brilliant on this paper though, I love it. I love how they're looking on the paper, now they're going down. Right, so I'm not gonna go any further into the centre than there. And then on this side we've got a really dark bit at the bottom, at the base of the leaf. So we'll sort of map that out, and then we can buff it out and blend it in a minute. And then we've got this side, being mindful of the line that we want to leave in down the centre. Like that. There's a bit of depth here, but I'm not going to press on too hard because it's just a little bit darker. So there you can see how I've not gone in as hard. Now I'm going to buff this bit out so it blends nicer. I said, but I call it buffing when I'm doing like really light circular motions, just blending the colour up. I call it buffing, I don't know why. Don't know why I call it buffing. Anyone else? Just buffing it in. Just making my own words up, aren't I? So I think that's where I want to be with that. That's where I want to be. Then I'm going to go back in with the middle tone, Permanent Green Olive 167. And I'm just going to blend it in a bit more. Blend the darker colour into the centre. Because we're going to go in with that May green in a minute. But I don't want it to be such a harshness. So if we buff some of that in, buff, we can then get the May green, which is 170. And go into our lightest area with this. Leaving a little bit of white space for the cream. We'll go over that line there. Leaving a tiny bit of white space in the centre. And then we'll go in with the cream, which is a 102. I think I should order another of these. I use it quite a lot. I do use it quite a lot. So we're going to go over that centre part again with the cream. And there we have it. There's another leaf done. So you can see, I don't think I'm going to do any more leaves because I don't want you to get too bored of leaves. But you can see how it's coming together. I love how that's looking. I can't wait to do these cherries as well. I might do some of them cherries actually next. Should we do a little cherry, just this little cluster here? And then we'll move on to the piggy. So I'm going to pick some colours out with you. So we need, I normally use three shades. I normally get a light shade that I base it all in, then I'll get a middle tone, and then I'll get a dark tone. So, but talking about the theory of shading that I touched on a couple of minutes ago, you can use green as an undertone to get that deepest red. So instead of going in with a dark red for the shadow, you could use a green underneath the red. Now, because I've not tried it out yet myself on a scrap piece of paper or on something I'm not too bothered about, I'm not going to go in on this page with it. I will try that theory in my own time on probably a PDF or something like that, or on some scrap paper first. So I'm not going to do that today, but I just thought I'd let you know about that in case you don't know, because I didn't know. You know, I just do my own thing when I'm colouring the majority of the time. So let's look at some of these reds. So that looks like, that middle cadmium red, that looks like it could be a good contender for the darkest bit. And then we need like a true red, like maybe a pale geranium lake, I'm thinking. Yeah, I think a pale geranium lake. And definitely a middle cadmium red. And a dark red. Right, let's pick out some of these pencils before I forget. You know what? I pick out pencils like I've just called them pencil names out and I'll totally forget what they are now. My memory is so shocking. You will laugh at me. So we said dark red, didn't we? Pull dark red out. What's this one? Nope. Nope, did we say middle cadmium red? Nope. I really should put my pencils in a better order because I cannot find anything. There was all the reds, wasn't there? There's none on this side. They're oranges. I've got the pencils I wanted. They wasn't in my pencil case, that's why I couldn't find them. I have a little pot on my desk where I put pencils that I've been using for whips. So yeah, it was in there. Silly me. Let's give them a wee sharpen. There we go. So I'm gonna zoom you in to these little cherries, or whatever they are, berries, cherries, who knows. There we go. Are we in enough? So I'm gonna base them first with the palest colour, which is the pale geranium lake 121, but I am gonna leave a little highlight. So whereabouts on this one? So this one's in the shadows, so this one's not going to have much of a highlight, but it is going to have a little one. So very pale pressure, very light pressure. And then I'm going to leave the little tiny highlight around here. See how it's only a little one? Like that. Then I'm going to use the, was it this one? The middle cadmium red 217. And I'm going to darken up some of the red, especially down here where it's really in the shadows. Ease enough pressure as we come towards that highlight. And a bit of dark here at the top, just there. And then I'm going to go in with the darkest colour that I've got. So this is the dark red 225. You can hear my children, they're absolutely wild. They're wild. So we're going in with a hard pressure right at the bottom of all this. We have got on my reference picture a really dark bit there. It almost looks like it's the top of the berry. You can see the little dots on top there. So it's almost as if it's the top of the berry. I'm going to go in on there. There we go. And now I'm going to use the lightest colour we put down first. So I'm going to use the pale geranium lake 121, and I'm going to use this to bring it all together. Making sure that I don't go over that highlight we've made. Just leaving that highlight there. And that's it. Really tiny, these are really tiny. So I'll just do these two as well, and then we'll move on to something else. I do apologise about my children. I know most of you say you're not bothered about hearing them in the background, but they're crazy. They're being absolutely crazy. So really light pressure. The highlight on this one is around here. So somewhere around the centre there. Gonna leave it at that. Then we're gonna go in with the middle tone, which is middle cadmium red 217. They're making me laugh. Yeah, they're making me laugh. I'm going to go in with some of this colour. Not too hard of a pressure, sort of medium to light pressure, especially when you come around near that highlight. You need a lighter pressure because you don't want to get a dark colour near that highlight. But here we can go a bit darker where that top bit's going to be. There. So I'm going to get the darkest colour now, which is the dark red 225. I'm going to pick out our darkest areas, so I am going to outline really darkly that bottom bit there. Can you see what I've done? Oh my gosh, my children, they sound like minions. I don't know what they're doing. Oh dear. This is the madhouse, guys. Madhouse. So there, I've picked out that, and I'm gonna bring this dark line up where these two cherries meet. So we're sort of getting some definition over, you know, so they don't get mingled in together, so to speak. Then I'm going to pick out that little top bit that's darker. And then there's a little bit of a dark line there. And then I'm going to go in with my light colour again. So my lightest colour is the pale geranium lake 121. I'm going to go over all of that. Buff over that highlight a little bit. There we go. Let's brush that away. So onto the final little one. So keeping hold of the pale geranium lake 121, and I'm going to pick out the highlight and base everything else in this. So the highlight is just a little tiny one on this one around there. So now going in with the middle colour, which is middle cadmium red 217. Let's have a look. Crazy children, crazy ladies. I think girls are the craziest, definitely. I have 4 girls, ages 12, 10, 8 and 5. And then my little boy, bless him, is the youngest. He'll be 4 in December. He's 3 at the minute, he'll be 4 in December. Bless him, I think, put up with all these girls. You can still throw a paddy, but you know, I don't think they're as bad as the girls' paddies. He's not as crazy as the girls. You can hear the girls being crazy. So I'm going to go in with the darkest colour now, dark red 225, and I'm going to pick out the darkest areas here. The actual reference picture does differ somewhat from the pictures on the right as well. I will show you what I mean when I've just finished colouring this little one. So I'm going to pick out the edge of the berry there with the darkest colour. So we're going to sort of map it out like we did with the other one. Some darkness in there with a hard pressure. Pick out that little bit at the top. About there. Let me have a look. That's relatively how it appears in my little reference. So I'm going to go in with the lightest colour now, the pale geranium lake 121. We'll go over all of that. And there we go. Brush the pencil dust away. Oh, sorry, I've knocked the camera. I hope we was in shot for that, because it looked like the camera wasn't in frame then. Holy moly, I hope it was. I hope it was. Yeah, but what I meant about the illustration, let me zoom out, how it differs slightly, is that, for example, these cherries we've just done at the top, or berries here, they have like little, on this one you can see the stalks coming from them there. There's 1, 2 stalks there. On this one there's no stalks. And then also things like a little headband here where it's gingham. It's not got them lines in there, so you will have to put them in yourself if you wanted to do that. Same on a bow, on a dress here. Same here. So there is little tiny differences. You can put them in yourself, of course, clearly. But yeah, I'll have to have good practice at that. So I'm thinking I might do the little piggy next, because he just looks so adorable. Look at that little pig. So I'm going to try and pick out some colours for this piggy. So hopefully I've got all my pinks in my pencil case. Let's have a look at pinks. That salmon's looking good. The coral's even looking good. And maybe, no, the salmon's definitely a good match. Possibly. Salmon does look good. What other colours? Because I use, let's have a look on this side. I think definitely I'll bring some ivory in to blend with an ivory. But I think maybe the pink madder, or that one, but obviously not a dark pressure. You wouldn't have to press on that hard. When I swatched these colours, I really should have done a blend from dark to light, like I've done with these ones. I did a sort of dark to light blend, so you can see the differences. That's what I should have done with these, because all I'm getting really is the darkest points. So I'm indecisive, very indecisive. I think I'm going to use the pink madder lake, the salmon, the pink madder lake, and the ivory. Maybe a bit of cinnamon, lightly. Right, let's see. Pink madder lake, salmon. That's pink madder lake. That was easy. I think my salmon colour's over here somewhere. Cinnamon is that salmon actually? Yep, that's salmon. So we've got salmon, we've got cinnamon, we've got pink madder lake. I'm gonna get an ivory to blend with, or make my colours a bit lighter. Where's the ivory? Oh, my ivory's over here. My ivory's there. Now, is there any other colours in here? There is some greys. Some sort of grey tones. So let's have a look at my greys. I think it's good to see the process of me picking colours out as well, because I am very indecisive. Really indecisive. I'm just looking, because some look a bit more browny tone than black and grey, to be honest. Maybe it's got a bit of more of a brown, like a Van-dyck-brown maybe. That looks more like. I might get the Van-dyck-brown out. Let's have a look. Van-dyck-brown and maybe a bit of that warm grey. Yeah, warm grey 272 and Van-dyck-brown. We'll go for that. Let me get them. Warm grey 272. I might already have that colour out actually. Yeah, I do. There we go. And Van-dyck-brown. Where's Van-dyck-brown? There we go. Right. Got them. Got them. So let's go for it. Oh, I'm scared of messing up this piggy because he's too cute to mess up. So I think, first of all, I'm going to base the whole pig in the cinnamon, but a really light layer of it. Really light layer of it. So the cinnamon is 189. So I'm going in really, really lightly. Oh, he's so cute as well. I don't want to mess the little piggy up. Don't let me mess the little piggy up, guys. Yeah, that's a good match, I think. We have to make sure that you're really light with it. If you go too dark with it, it's not going to be the good match for the base layer. But it's looking alright. It's looking the closest. Even if it ends up being a bit off, I'm not too fussed. As long as he looks cute. It still has to look cute. Might try and put a bit of fluff on him. Not too much. Follow some of the hair strokes that are already down to get a bit of fluff on. But I will just finish the piggy off today, I think. And then call it a colouring chat. If you want me to work any more on this page, just let me know. And I'll try and jump on for another hour doing something else, possibly the little girl's hair or the headband, to see if I can copy the gingham pattern. I've never done it before, but we can have a shot. Now I'm going to leave his eyebrow, his little eyebrow. I'm not going to go over with the cinnamon because it does look like it's a lot paler on the reference. I don't know if you can see on the reference. I should probably get myself a couple of the Forest Girl books. I don't own any of those books, but I know they have a reference like this, and I really do enjoy books with references. I really do. I've got the Thomas Kincaid one, but that's really still intimidating me at the moment. I've not done a page in that yet. That does still intimidate me. Right, I'm going to go over with a base layer on the nose as well, or the snout, whatever we want to call it. There we go. Now I'm aware that some of my colours don't look like an exact match for this. They really don't. Like, none of my colours look like an exact match. But the closest one I could find to it was the pink Madder-like. So we'll give this a go. It's not going to be an exact match, but we'll see. So I'm going to go in with some of this. I'm going to do a light layer first, and then I'm going to pick out some of the darker bits. So light layer first. This is, sorry, I didn't give you the pencil number. Pink Madder-like 129. I do thoroughly recommend this book though. So beautiful. I mean, I always get excited when I buy new books because I wouldn't have bought them otherwise if I didn't like them. But this one is like super. I'm getting so much enjoyment out of this. I love every single page in this book. There's not one page that I won't look at and think I wouldn't like to colour that. There's not one page that I won't colour in this book. They're absolutely beautiful. So now I'm going to sort of pick out the outline and we're going to go from there. So I'm going to, my pencil's got a nice sharp point. I'm going to sort of pick out the outline like that, very carefully. So I'm going to pick it out sort of all the way around, and then we can buff it in. My favourite word. We can buff the colour towards the centre. It's not 4 o'clock, is it yet? I don't know why I'm asking you. You don't know what time I'm filming. You've no clue, have you? Let me look on my iPad for a second, sorry guys. It is 3:30. It's only because I need to listen for the door from 4 o'clock for the kiddies' sweeties are being delivered. So I am just using that circular motion I spoke about to sort of, that line what I've created, to sort of buff it in towards the centre. It's the best word I can use for it, buffy. I'm definitely going to use the Ivory to blend all this together shortly. So let's get some of that colour going on down here. So you can see how this nose on mine is a lot brighter, but when we get that ivory on, it will dull it down just a tad. Oh, I hope it will. Emergency vehicles going past. It's not your imagination, guys, it's on my video. Can't get a video in without an emergency vehicle. If you've been with me any amount of time, you'll know that. You'll know that. You always get them on my videos. Right, I'm going to bring a bit of grey in now. So the grey that I picked out, which was the warm grey 272, I'm going to give it a little bit of a sharpen, because I can see that this snout has a bit of grey in. So it's got a bit of grey here over the top, and it's got a bit of grey at the bottom and a tiny bit at the side there. So I'm just gonna buff a little bit of that in. Buffy again. So that'll do on the top. Bit on the bottom. And did we say the side? Yeah, there's a bit on the side here. And what about the nostrils? I'm going to fill in the nostrils with a darker pressure of this as well. If I have to go in with some black, I probably will have to add a touch of black or a touch of a sepia or something, a darker tone, to darken it up. Let's just brush over that. Let me see what colour I've got on over here. Let's see if I've got a darker grey anywhere. So I'm going to go in with a warm grey 273. Just darken up the nostrils. There we go, that's better. So I'm going to get my cinnamon again. No, my salmon, sorry. I'm going to use the salmon 130, and very lightly I'm just going to add a touch of this colour before I go in with the ivory. So looking at this nose on my reference, it has got a bit of a highlight in the centre, so I'm going to leave this little bit lighter. So I think that'll do. I'm going to go in with a bit of ivory. Just going to sharpen the pencil a wee bit. Oh, what have I dropped on the floor? Pencils rolling off everywhere. So this is 103, the ivory. And I'll start in the centre where we've got that little highlight, what we want to keep. Just buff that a little bit. I'm just using the small circular motions. That's a cute little snout if ever I did see one. Cute little snouty. And brush that away. Now I want to deepen up all his body, but first I think I'll go in with that little dark bit on his ears. So similar to this, I'm going to use the same colours. So I'm going to go in first with the Pink Madder Lake 129, but I'm not going to go in as much as I did on the nose with this. It's just going to be a really light pressure of it. Following where you can see on the reference. I hope you can see how nicely these polychromos are working on this paper. They feel really nice. So that's that, and then I'm going to do a bit in the other ear. So over here, again sticking to a light pressure. Oh, it looks super cute. Super cute. Then I'm going to bring in some of the salmon. That nearly went off the table as well. What's up with me today? Salmon 130. And I'm just going to go in with a little tiny bit. Really light pressure. Just add in a tiny bit. Nothing too much. Just filling in a bit more of the white space, that's all. There we go. I'm going to use a bit more of this cinnamon. So cinnamon 189, and I can just see round here how there's quite a bit more darkness. So I'm going to build it up a little bit around here, following the lines that we've already been given. Again, just using light pressure, we can always build it up, but we don't want to put too much down or else we'll be faffing with the eraser, trying to erase bits out. So there's a bit of a shadowing of this colour over the mouth here. Sort of there. And a tiny bit underneath the mouth as well. Comes from this direction. Might be easier. So a bit there, little bits here. I'm sort of going to map out the little lines that are here, because I am going to try and put in a few of those hair strokes in with the Van-dyck-brown and greys after. So we'll just try and map out what it's got there. A little bit around here. It is looking like Charlotte's Web, this page, isn't it? I think it definitely is supposed to be. So I'm going to do a little bit around his eye as well. It looks like he's got some here on the reference. Bit of darkness there. Bit over here. I'm going to go over his ear with this colour as well, just to blend it out a bit better into that lighter shade. Tiny bit on his back before we come in with those greys and brown tones. A little bit here, isn't there? Keep looking and seeing more and more on the reference. Bit there. I think that might be it, you know, for that colour. A little bit under here. A bit more of a sort of line shape under there, under the mouth. There we go. So I'm going to use, firstly I'm going to go in with my lightest grey, so the warm grey 272, and I'm going to go in and pick some of the areas out that are, let me give it a sharpen, pick some of the areas out that have a bit of a grey tone, undertone. There, in the corner here. Like I say, I don't like to go in too harshly. I like to go in with the lighter shades first and then just slowly build up. You can keep looking over at the illustration and slowly build up where you can see it's a bit darker. So firstly, going in here, maybe even sort of mapping out some little hair strokes there. Map out some of the little tiny hair strokes. Oh, his fluffy little cute piglet. Like I say, I'll go in with some darker ones, but it's just mapping out where you want some little ones. And we've got his ear up here, where we have some little fluff. Looking at this at the top of the pig, I should have done all these leaves before going in with this. I may have to just leave the top bit, and then when I've done all the leaves, go back in with the little hair strokes that are overlapping the leaves. This is something you need to be mindful with when colouring, but I'm just never am. I'm never mindful, guys. I'm never mindful. Never, never. Never, never, ever. I'm going to map out some of these lines using the lightest colour again because we don't want it to be too harsh. But that does look like it's got a sort of a little bit of a grey shadowing around here and around that bit of the eye. Just getting the little details in now. If you always start with a lighter shade, and you can see how it's leaking, then build on it. There we go. I'm gonna do a little bit of grey there, a little bit of grey mapping. Map a little line out there. That's sort of his little chinny, his little neck. I do want to darken up some of this, just like that, just right in the corner. And then we've got some little hair strokes roughly around here. But I think they might have some, it might need some Van-dyck-brown mixing in with that. Looks like it's got a bit of a brown tone in it. So I've just done the little hair strokes like it's got there. Same over here. And in the corner, again over here I'll have to go in once I've coloured a dress with the hair strokes that are just overlapping a bit. But if I just map out them there, then I'll know at the end that I want to go over there. And then I'm just gonna find his mouth, and then I'll go in with a darker shade in a second to black that out some more. And obviously here as well, he's got a lovely little smile. Look at it. Look at his little smile. Map it out with a lighter shade then it's not looking too harsh. I'm gonna go in with a bit of the grey around here. Definitely with some on top of his nose. You can see there's quite a bit of grey on top of his nose here. Always keeping a light hand with things like this. So that's that. I'll do a few more little hair strokes there. And then the ear, we did this ear, didn't we? I just need to go in with some darker depth over that side, on this side. Again, all them little hair strokes at the top need going in later on, but I can map out where they are here. These little lines can be done. So goddamn cute. And map out those little ones. Map out the edge of the ear like that. What have we got around the eye? We've got a little tiny eyebrow here, which I think I've had to draw that in myself because I couldn't see that in there. Yep, so now I'm going to go in with a bit of the Van-dyck-brown because it looks like it's got a bit of a brown tone in it. 176. So I'm just going to pop a few of the Van-dyck-brown strokes there. and I think it's more of a circular motion to just add a bit of the colour rather than full on dark hair strokes with this one, looking at it. Maybe a few really lightly. We can go in with some darker ones up here and on the ears. The ears are quite dark, the lines in the ears, so we can afford to do that here. So the little lines here. It is quite dark up there. You can see there's some quite harsh, couple of quite harsh lines up there. And here, but as I say, we'll have to go in with them at a later date when I've done the leaves. These ones are quite dark. And then we've got a darkness up here. Let's just brush some of that dust away. I'm gonna do a little line there. Looks like there's a little line just there in the brown. The more you look, the more details you find. So I'm going to buff some of this colour in as well. I'm not using hair strokes, I'm just small circular motions, really, really light. Like, I'm barely touching the page here, guys. I'm barely touching the page. I'm liking it, this little guy's looking, it's so cute. So now I'm gonna get my darkest grey to start off with. So the one I've got out is the Warm Grey 273, and I'm just gonna map out the eye. We've got this little highlight in the middle that remains white there, and the rest of it's going to be really dark. This one is really tiny, really tricky, but it does have a little tiny white dot around there. But I wanted to map that out with this first to not go in too harshly with the black straight away. Again, the same with the mouth. And now I can find my black and go in with the black. Hopefully it's in my pencil case. It is. We're winning today, we're winning. Well, now we're winning. So I'm going to go over where I've just been with the black now. Waft the dust away. There we go. I'm going to put a tiny bit of a line around this nostril with the black, and again on this side. It's just the sort of bit of a shadow you would have. And then we'll go in with the mouth, a bit darker with this. Let's get that mouth filled in. I'm being careful over this line because I'm scared of it going too harsh. A little bit there. Now I'm going to go over his body with a bit of the ivory, just to buff him all out a little bit. So Ivory 103, I'm not going to do too much, but just round here. Just buffing a little bit. Just to merge some of those colours. Obviously at the end, like I said, once we've coloured the dress and once we've coloured the leaves up here, I am going to do some more flicks of the hair up there. Now I think I'm going to leave my little piggy's eyes like that with the highlight. But if you wanted to, where's all that pencil sharpening shavings come from? But if you wanted to, you could go in with a white gel pen just to make it even brighter. But I think I'm going to leave a little piggy like that. I'm happy with him. Very happy with him. Super cute. So let's zoom you out a little bit so you can see side by side. So that's what we've done on camera. So we sort of showed you a little bit of how I do the leaves, how I did the berries, and we did the little piggy. But I will have to leave it at that for now. I'm really super happy with that. So close up on those berries and leaves, if we're not going blurry. And the little pig, oh, I love him. I love him. How cute. So yeah, I thoroughly recommend this book. If you want to see the flip through, just drop down in the description and click on the link. And hope you like this video. And subscribe if you're new. If you want to see me do some more of this page on camera, just comment down below and I'll try and get a little bit more done on camera for you all. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.